Thank you for joining us tonight. The program will begin in exactly 5 minutes. We'll be right back at exactly 6:05 p.m. So sit back, chill out because you're in for a very enlightening session.
Does your life as an online learner look awfully something like this? All study and no fun makes one a dull one. Escape boredom and burnout while learning a lot and so much more. You don't have to worry about juggling work and school. The balance in academic excellence, work, and fun is now made accessible at your fingertips. Join us as we walk you through the fun part of digital learning as we put the cool in digital school. Here at MMDC, a whole lot of fun awaits you. Activities, opportunities to meet new people, and avenues to showcase your passion, talents, and skills aplenty. Digital, I dig it all. Say goodbye to dozing off during boring and stuffy webinars, and say hello to fun and interactive e-events lined up for you. Brace yourselves for quirky challenges that you will experience with your friends and clubmates. We introduce to you our virtual escape rooms. Hunt for clues, solve mysteries, and then some. Digital, I dig it all. Need time off from your computer to stretch a little? We've got that covered too. We have wellness activities to make sure that you stay fit and healthy even with the digital setup. Digital, I dig it all. Digital learning is said to be lonely learning, but fret not, lonely no more. Here at MMDC, you'll never be or feel alone. Go join a club or create one yourself. Share and express your passion, talents, and skills. Digital, I dig it all. From clubs that will help you further improve your communication and social skills, to the ones that place focus on technical skills that will help you solve real-world cases that you will work on, or even a club that simply unleashes you in the we as we grow together as a nurturing and fun, dynamic academic community. Digital, I dig it all. Finally, get a chance to be featured in our school publication. Share about activities, events, and even your own stories in our digital community. Or be part of the proactive school publications team and get to write articles. Together, we'll deliver news and updates and more to our community. The MMDC community. Digital, I dig it all. We've talked digital, but what about face-to-face? MMDC proudly welcomes you to our Learning Hub. Experience firsthand and in person our state-of-the-art facilities that are both conducive for learning and collaboration friendly. Here, you not only solve problems, projects, and cases, but also build and create connections, collaborations, and ideas while having fun. It's all in at the Hub, only at the Learning Hub. The entire digital setup might be intimidating, but worry not. The IA or Integrated Advising Services are here to assist you for anything and everything. Got any questions or queries? We're here to answer you or direct you to the right persons. Got concerns? We're all ears. Troubleshooting? Consider it done. We're just one message away. Sounds exciting? We're excited for you too. We can't wait to be part of your college journey. See you virtually and in our learning hubs.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to What's Next Wednesdays, where we'll be talking about the latest developments, in college, business, and technology. I'm Danny, and I'm live all the way from the Learning Hub in Bacolod City. So before we begin, here are some house rules for tonight's session. This event will be recorded and is published on our Facebook and YouTube pages. At any time during the event, feel free to type your questions in the chat box, or for those of you on Zoom, in the comment section. For those of you who are watching on our social media pages, and our admissions advisors will be happy to answer you. For those of you who are on Zoom, your microphone is automatically muted when you enter the room. But if you want to ask questions during our Q&A segment, click the raise hand button and our moderator will be the one to unmute you. You can also follow us on our social media pages if you want to get updated and or watch this event live on our social media accounts at Mapua Malayan Digital. So as this marks our first episode for the entire series, we want to make sure that it's going to be a fun and insightful session for everybody, especially for those of you who are part of the MMDC community. So really happy to have all of our applicants and all of our students here tonight. And our first guest for the series is actually somebody that's a very familiar face here at MMDC, especially for the students. She heads our academic team for business administration and has a strong background in the industry and is very involved in the communities as well. Today, she'll be talking about something very important for our working professionals and MMDC students, which is how to succeed in your studies at MMDC. Live at the Cloverleaf Learning Hub, let's give a warm welcome to none other than Miss Joedy Cruel.
Yeah. Hi, Daddy. Happy to be here.
Hi, Miss Joedy. Really glad that I am able to see you. And it's such an amazing thing to see that even if you're in the Cloverleaf Hub and even if I'm in the Capital Central Hub, we're still able to meet like this.
Yeah. The same feeling for you, Danny. Yeah.
So, Ms. Joedy, this evening we'll be starting off our session with a question that something that our MMDC students should know by now, but that our audience might want to learn more about. So, first off, can you tell us how learning at MMDC differs from other colleges out there?
Okay, so what makes MMDC from other traditional schools is that we practice problems, projects, and cases. So in a traditional school, they usually implement quizzes and tests to check if a student has learned something. But in our case, we do projects, problems, and cases.
Okay, so that's very interesting actually, Miss Joedy. And I know that the projects, problems, and cases learning model, or the PTC model, is quite new to at least to the college education environment here in the Philippines. So as a mentor and academic leader, can you tell us more about how our learning model works from your perspective as a teacher and how you think it fits our students?
Okay, so what makes our learning model very different is that our students take a more active part in the learning process. So what we do is learning by doing. So we don't they don't spend time listening to lectures or taking notes. They actually take part in the actual learning experience itself.
Oh yeah, that's very interesting, Miss Joedy. So seeing that they're taking part in the actual learning experience, that these students are actually shaping the learning experience that they have, what's a typical day with the students like, especially with you as a mentor?
Okay, so once a week, everyone meets up for a synchronous session. Now, during this synchronous session, everyone gets to meet their classmates and their mentors, and then they get to practice their learning. So, in that once a week event, everyone gets to show to their class what they're already learning from the lessons that they have studied before. And then for the rest of the week, they can actually learn on their own through the learning management system or book a mentoring session with their mentors.
Oh, okay. And why is it so important that our students learn through projects, problems, and cases instead of the more traditional way of learning that we're used to?
Well, because in the real world, though, when you go to the workplace, I don't think that you'll be asked to do a quiz or test by your boss. Definitely, your boss will ask you to be part of a project, and your boss will ask you to solve problems. And in terms of case study, usually every situation or problem you face, they have a mini informal case study that you have to review in order to solve it.
Yeah, definitely, Miss Joedy. And I know that based on both of our experiences, I guess none of us have had bosses that have asked us to enumerate, let's say, what encompasses a certain theory or to enumerate the parts of a business plan, for example. So it's always been about application, right?
Yes,
So
right.
there's a stigma actually that comes with online classes. People are saying it's a bit tiring or boring, but I've actually attended our classes here at MMDC, and it seems that our students have been having a really collaborative experience and they're very expressive when it comes to their classes. So why do you think the online learning experience is different here in MMDC?
Well, because in our MMDC, we learn by doing. We don't learn by lecture, tests, and quizzes. So I doubt they'll fall asleep in class, no, because they're practicing what they've learned, no.
Yes, indeed. And it's really refreshing to see that the MMDC model has changed how students are shifting their perspectives, especially when it comes to learning, right, Miss Jody?
Yeah, our flexible model allows our student at times of their convenience, and it gives them a more independence in their schoolwork. I think that's why we have a growing number of back-to-school adults and working students starting to enjoy their time here.
Yes, I do agree with that. And I actually got to e-meet one of them and to see how he's been doing here at MMDC. So for the working professionals out there, you might want to focus your attention on screen to see how you can balance work and school by hearing from our very own Kevin Ognala, who is an information technology student and working professional. Let's watch this. Hi, Kevin. All right, so this afternoon we have Kevin here with us. So Kevin is currently working and studying at MMDC. So Kevin, we're going to go ahead and ask you a few questions to try to better understand your professional life and how it works with you along with the time that you're allotting for your studies. So the first question, of course, would be, and I hope Kevin, you're ready to answer this as honestly and as accurately as possible. Why did you enroll in MMDC out of all other schools?
Yes, hi, good morning po. So yeah, to answer that question po, why I enrolled with MMDC and why not other schools. So first thing po is the MMDC is online. So nowadays po, after the pandemic, after 2 years, we are actually required, I mean, some of the schools actually required students to report face-to-face, but not all po. Pero syempre, kaya po MMDC napili ko kasi I know that I can manage my time with MMDC as well as while working. Kasi nga po, here with MMDC, um, we do have recordings din po kasi. So I can actually go ahead and um, even though I'm not able to attend all of my class, I can pull up my recording so I can go ahead and I can do it. Unlike other schools po, like if you're gonna go ahead and if you aren't able to report face to face. So di wala po kayong makukuha kumbaga na-miss niyo na yung class na yun, hindi niyo siya babalikan.
Yeah. All right. So, Kevin, one thing that I'd also like to ask, aside from the reason why you chose MMDC, is what pushed you to go back to school after all these years? So, bakit ngayon? And of course, we're really happy to have you here at MMDC, but we'd also like to deep dive into the reason why you want to pursue your education further with us.
Yeah, to be honest with you po, the reason as to why nag-aral ako ulit, because I wanted to be, promoted or I wanted to have higher position on what I have right now. So, I mean, I know that dreaming is, free, but it's not really impossible, right? So, hanggat nag-aaral ka and as long as um, you wanted to have that goal, then definitely you work on it.
Yes, I do agree with that, Kevin. And of course, we're all rooting for your success and for that promotion that's to come through your MMDC education. So let's tackle a bit more about the time that you've been spending here at MMDC. So I think our audience wants to know, kaya ba talagang pagsabayin ang trabaho at ang pag-aaral dito sa MMDC?
Yes, definitely po. Kayang-kaya yan. Just wanted to make sure na yung loads na kukunin nyo, you can actually just not gonna take all full loads. So, dapat yung kaya nyo din. So, since si MMDC is PPC, so you don't actually, I mean, we don't have exams. So, we do have milestones to take every semester. So for that one, syempre less stress na din tayo kasi wala tayong exams. So we
Mhm.
are actually graded based on the milestones every semester.
All right. So, for everybody's information as well, the PPC model that Kevin was mentioning is the projects, problems, and cases model. So, maybe Kevin, you can elaborate on the experience you've had with this so far. So, how different is it from the usual school routine that you used to have, where you had to memorize theories, had to memorize concepts?
Yep, for that one po is our mentors normally giving us, as you mentioned, project problem and cases. So
Mhm.
with every milestones, what we do is we do, collaboration with our classmates po. So with that one, we are able to, para dun sa mga activities na ginagawa namin for the milestone, nagagawa namin siya in a way na, yun nga, pagiging collaborative namin sa isa't isa. When it comes to communication, nandun dun po. And then when it comes to our mentors, we are able to ask, help from our mentors too. Just unlike traditional schools na what we normally do is like every semester there will be final exams. So it's really way different po.
Mhm. Okay. And as I understand, Kevin, right now you're taking up three subjects, correct? So you have
Yes
three
po.
subjects. So how is your typical week like, given that you have work and that you have studies to juggle as well?
Yes, for that one po, manageable naman po yung time ko since my shift start at 3 a.m. to 12 p.m. and
Mhm,
my start class is at 1 p.m. So,
mhm,
manageable po siya in a way na I don't need to rush.
mhm,
Just like, for traditional school, kapag papasok ka face-to-face like that, um, you need to wait kung namamasahe ka, 'di ba?
mhm,
So, mahalay ka ng trike or ng jeep para
mhm,
pumunta dun sa school, yung kadalasan ma-late ka pa diyan. Eh, dito
mhm,
naman kasi sa MMDC, like, after ng work ko, even if I'm not home, I can just go ahead and, go online so I can be able to attend my class. So if ever man na I'm not able to attend my class, as you mentioned, we do have recordings na pwede naming balikan. And if there are actually parts of the recordings or of the class that we aren't able to understand, we can book a mentoring session with our mentors.
All right.
So, ayun. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Kevin. So earlier you mentioned that you have the flexibility to attend your classes, even if you don't have to commute, even if you don't have to go to the learning hubs. So maybe you can give them an idea about what synchronous classes are like here at MMDC.
Yes po. When it comes to synchronous class, you and your mentors together with your classmates are all together on a class po na online po siya na um, lahat po kayo, yung mentor niyo po is magdi-discuss ng, the lessons. And after that, magkakaroon din po yung mga parang activities during the class, like breakout sessions, wherein lahat po kayong magkaklase magkakaroon po ng time para mag-usap, para
Mhm.
maging collaborative po dun sa kung ano may activities na ginagawa niyo, para din po yun sa milestones at the end of the week.
Okay. And do these synchronous sessions happen only twice a week for you and your classmates?
Yep, our synchronous class only happen Mondays and Tuesdays, and the
Mhm.
rest of the week po is for if you guys needs to do your activities and also book mentoring with your mentors din po.
All right. Okay, so you were mentioning earlier na you always try to collaborate with your classmates. You always try to work with your classmates on the milestones that you're given. So, kumusta naman yung mga projects niyo? What have you been doing in class and outside of class that has helped you grow as a professional and as a student in MMDC?
Yes, when it comes to the projects po, lahat naman po kami is active when it comes to that one since ginagawa po namin, ang leader namin is bibigyan kami ng parang task
Mhm.
for us to perform or to do before the deadline of our activity or of our projects. So, ayun po, may communication naman po kami and nagagawa din po namin yung mga activities or binibigay sa aming task ng aming leader within the week. So, gano'n po siya ka-ano, para sa'kin po, gano'n po siya ka-okey para
Mhm.
maging ano, para ma-balance yung study and work at the same time. Kasi po 'di ba, I do work 9 hours. So
Mhm.
after my work, if
Mhm.
I don't have synchronous class, yun po, nagkakaroon po kami ng communication through social medias with my classmates. So
Mhm.
with that, nagkakaroon din po kami ng social development po and then we we enjoyed it naman po.
Right. So, what type of projects have you been working on so far with the three subjects that you have? So, can you give our audience an idea about the kind of schoolwork that they'll be encountering with us?
Yeah, sa dito po ngayon sa ano is we have UTS or understanding the self. What we're working on right now is to develop our own self-reflection tool. So far po, yung akin patapos na din po talaga. Actually, finalizing na lang. As for my mentor, sabi niya, nag-comment naman po siya na, yeah, you just need to work on this. And that's how, I mean, ganun po kaano yung mentor din po namin. Kasi if ever man na may kailangan pa kaming i-develop or i-improve, sasabihin naman po talaga niya sa amin. And yeah, sa UTS po is gumagawa po kami ng self-reflection tool. And when it comes naman po sa PPC, sa pop culture po is gumagawa kami ng um, museum po, but it is virtual museum. So I know that they might be surprised about that. But yeah, nakaka-enjoy po kasi
Mhm.
before kasi on my traditional school, we don't usually do that.
Mhm.
Kasi
Mhm.
siyempre, what we do is, exam quizzes like that. So
Yes.
dito
Okay.
po kasi bibigyan po kayo ng gagawin and you
Mhm.
need to work on it. Sometimes individual and sometimes with a group.
Mhm. So, when you work with groups, kamusta naman yung interaction mo with your classmates? Is it still effective that you're socializing and working together online?
Definitely po.
Mhm.
I totally agree with that one kasi as I mentioned po, we do have social medias to communicate.
Mhm.
Actually, ginagamit din po namin si Google Meet for meetings. For
Mhm.
us to, if ever man po na may clarification kami on our task, yun po yung ginagawa namin. Nagkakaroon pa kami ng Gmeet or nag-chat pa kami through social medias na
Mhm.
sabi namin, I would like to clarify this. So,
Mhm.
dun pa lang po para maging productive and syempre maging successful yung milestone na ginagawa namin.
All right, that's great to hear, Kevin. And we're almost out of time. So I just have one last question for you. And I hope that the audience tunes into this question the most. So, Kevin, ano yung mga tips na pwede mong ibigay sa mga working professionals na gusto ding maging student ng MMDC?
Yeah, for that one po, first, I want them to be responsible po. At the end of the day, you are working and studying at the same time. So managing your time and being responsible would be the first thing that I would actually ask them to work on. Kasi syempre kung di na po kayo ka-responsable, I think that's a big no. And then, for me po, sa mga magbabalak po mag-aral o bumalik mag-aral ulit, just try not to take full loads or full units para syempre po iwas din po tayo sa stress. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Kevin, for the time that you've spent with us today. So we really appreciate it. And of course, we're rooting for your success. We hope that your time here at MMDC will allow you to build on your real world application of the concepts that you're learning. So again, thank you so much. Have a good day, Kevin.
Thank you po. Have a great day.
Okay.
So it was really impressive to see how Kevin managed his time between work, school, and his personal life. Don't you think, Miss Jody?
Yeah, I agree. Kevin's one of our very active students. I'm never absent, so he's really good in juggling studies and work.
Yeah, and I think he's a perfect model for time management, at least for our other working students out there, or maybe our working professionals who want to go back to school. But what are your thoughts on this, Miss Jody? Remember, he mentioned something about prioritizing both his work and his school. So have you ever had to juggle your corporate job with your schooling or maybe even your community involvement before?
Yeah, because before I used to run a manufacturing plant and I was also studying my MBA. So I understand what Kevin means about the importance. You have to really make a commitment and make time for your studies, no matter how busy you are.
Yeah, and I do agree with that also. And it also comes with other responsibilities that we have as adults, I guess, where we have to prioritize, of course, our home lives and our time at work and now at school even. But Miss Jody, there's a really big question that a lot of our students want to know, especially from the perspective of a mentor. So, Miss Jody, can you tell us how students can succeed in MMDC?
Okay, so the number one factor for a student to succeed at MMDC is to constantly keep in touch with your mentor. Okay, so no matter how much your workload changes, no matter how your work shift changes, you have to inform your mentor about it. No, so that your mentor can help you cope with your lessons at MMDC. Another thing is to have an accountability partner, whether in your class or at home. No, this person will remind you about your upcoming responsibilities and also will motivate you to meet your goals, especially if you have a classmate where you have the same academic goal, like let's pass this subject with a grade of 1. And so both of you are supporting each other to reach that goal. Because, in MMDC, what makes us different, we do not consider collaborating with your classmates as cheating. Remember, in the normal traditional school, if you ask help from your classmate or collaborate, it's like cheating. But when you're in a project, scenario or situation, I don't think you can cheat. No, so because it's always a unique project, it's so easy to know. And also you have to. Another thing is that you can also use the power of technology, especially at MMDC, to remind yourself of your obligation. So at MMDC, we use Google Workspace. You can download it in the mobile and put it in your Google Calendar to remind you constantly in your mobile phone as frequently as you access your Facebook account to all your upcoming assignments and obligations at MMDC. Okay.
Yeah. All right. That's actually a really good answer, Miss Jody. And I like how you pointed out that it's not cheating and at MMDC if you're choosing to work with, let's say, a pair, a partner, or a group, because usually we do encourage our students to collaborate and share ideas. We do also have group works. We also have individual schoolwork that they also attend to. So as they work individually and with teams, how would you suggest that they best manage their time between this individual assignments or projects and the group work that they're also given?
Okay, so what's very important here is the proper division of labor, especially for group work. Now, I'm aware that in a typical group, there are some members who are unable to meet during Google Meet. So in that scenario where you can't meet your own classmates because of time differences, what you can do, you can actually divide the work. Then afterwards, you'll have a working document on Google Space because we have that at MMDC, and then you just can put your inputs anytime, any time of the day when having to meet your classmates. So imagine the power of technology. You work in a group, you can contribute at different times of the day on one working document.
Yeah, and I do agree with that, Miss Jody. It's really amazing to see how far technology has brought us, that it makes it possible for us to collaborate with students that are also outside of the country, or maybe for our students from Luzon to collaborate with our students from Visayas and Mindanao. And it's really nice to see that they're getting along and that they're also working towards the common goal of learning. So our students actually have several milestones per week, Miss Jody, especially now that some of them, or I guess most of them, are choosing to consume all 15 units that they're allotted for the term. So do you have any tips and tricks on how they can manage their time better?
Okay, in terms of milestones, the style here is to work on your milestone bit by bit. Every week and any chance you can get because at MMDC we give you a very good amount of time to finish your milestones. So we give you weeks, 1 to 2 weeks to finish your milestone. It's advisable that you work on it bit by bit and then consult your mentor if you're doing it the right way. Because what's hard is you finish your milestone and discover it's wrong. So as much as possible while you're building it, you consult your mentor every step of the way. Keep in touch even with your unfinished outputs.
Yeah, and it's also, I guess, is it also helpful that they try to seek out assistance, especially when they're stuck in an earlier milestone before
Oh,
they
yeah.
forward? Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree on that. So that's a very good point, no? So, for example, if they're working on a milestone and they're stuck, the best way to solve that problem is reach out to your mentor. Don't stop seeking help. If you have unfinished drafts, it's okay. Your mentor doesn't mind taking a look at it.
Yeah.
And mind you, they're not gonna grade you for it. They're just gonna give you feedback.
Now, as they prepare all of these milestones or as they contact their mentors, how do you think students can avoid losing focus?
Okay, what's very important is, of course, we have an accountability partner within the classroom. So I always believe in the power of motivating each other, and it can be within a group, or also if you're not close with anyone in the class, you can have an accountability partner at home that somebody will remind you about your upcoming obligations. Of course, your mentors will also be reminding you, but it's your main responsibility, as Kevin mentioned in the interview, that's your main responsibility to keep your commitments in school.
Yes, I do agree with that, Miss Jody. And of course, it's also a matter of motivating yourself because sometimes it is a bit easy to get distracted, right? So it's also important that our students also motivate themselves to actually prioritize the work as opposed to letting it let's say letting a few days pass before they start on it because it tends to sort of displace them in a sense. And this is also applicable for students in other colleges. Personally, I've also experienced this, right? But from your experience, Miss Jody, what best practices can you share that have allowed you to succeed in school and eventually at work too?
Okay, there are actually three factors. One is if you have a very supportive boss or a very supportive mentor or teacher and an accountability partner. Of course, in life, it's a reality. Not everyone is lucky to have a boss that is very supportive, right? So what is very important is that at least you have a mentor who understands your situation as a working student and is willing to give you flexibility with the requirements because of your work schedule. And of course, as I mentioned a while ago, is the accountability partner that helps you, that supports you and motivates you within a class.
All right. Okay, I think you can continue, Miss Jody.
Yeah, so it's very important that you have an accountability partner that also reminds you, and you also maximize the use of technology in order to remind you constantly of all your obligations in school, no matter how busy you are.
Yeah, I do agree with that. And I feel like if you have an accountability partner and then you also have a supportive mentor that's guiding you towards the right path, I feel like there's a lot of room for success in that, right? It seems like a good formula for success because you have somebody that keeps you aware of what you're doing, and you also have somebody that's also rooting for you to succeed and guiding you along the way to make sure that it works for you. But what's your advice for people that might have trouble along the way and who are still adjusting to our digital first learning model?
Well, the key is always to keep in touch with your mentor and ask help because there's a reason why your mentor is there. It will be happy to assist you with your challenges.
All right. And before we move on to our Q&A, do you have a message for our viewers out there who might be feeling pressure in their studies?
Okay, the key here is always reach out to your mentors. There's a reason why your mentors are called mentors and not teachers. No? They not only guide you with the lesson, but they also help you adjust to the PPC model and succeed.
All right. So thank you for that, Miss Jody. So given that we have a lot of attendees here, we have a lot of students that are tuning into our live podcast. Let's try to see if they might have any questions. All right. So I'm also tuning into our Facebook Live
Or
to
and ask
see
help because
if
there's a reason.
you guys have any questions. So send in your questions here, or if ever that somebody here in our Zoom Live has questions, feel free to do so. So the floor is open for questions. Maybe some of you have something in mind in relation to what Miss Jody said. All right, and this is where the awkward pause ensues. So it seems that everybody satisfied with your answers, Miss Jody, to our questions. And I hope that everybody's learning a lot from this as well, especially our students here at MMDC, who, by the way, are watching on our Facebook Live. Some are also here. So, given that it seems that there aren't any questions, then I think that's all the time we have for this episode. So, thank you so much, Miss Jody, for gracing us with your wisdom as a mentor. So, we really truly appreciate that. And thank you, everyone, for tuning into the first episode of MMDC's official podcast, What's Next Wednesdays. So if you have any questions regarding admissions, please send us an email at admissions@mmdc.mcl.edu.ph. Or to learn more about Mapua Malayan Digital College, you can visit our website, which is www.mmdc.mcl.edu.ph. So thank you everyone for joining us once again, and I see you on our next Wednesday.